In Beings of Another Kind, Lyra Silvertongue, now grown and world-weary, ventures through the ghostly ruins of Alcon al-Azraq, a moonlit desert city known in legend as Madinat al-Qamar, the City of the Moon. She is searching for something she has lost, her demon Pantalaimon, who left her after the fracture between them that followed years of disillusionment. In this desolate and spectral place, she meets a frightened girl named Nur Huda, whose demon Jamal has been taken from her. The story opens in the heart of the ruins, a vast field of toppled columns and marble statues glimmering under the moon. The air is charged with stillness, broken only by faint, inexplicable whispers. Lyra, cautious but compassionate, finds Nur Huda trembling among the relics of forgotten gods. The younger girl's face, streaked with tears, shines in the cold light as she tells Lyra that she is trapped in a strange, invisible battle. A war in here, where unseen voices fight and argue endlessly inside her mind. The voices, she explains, are not visible beings, only presences that whisper and command, keeping her separated from her demon. They will not let her approach Jamal, who is being held somewhere beyond her reach. Lyra, recognizing both the danger and the profound sorrow in Nur Huda's voice, tries to comfort her. When Lyra mentions Pan's name, Nur Huda's fear turns to confusion and wonder. Pan, the demon Lyra lost, is the one who found her, Nur Huda says. After her family's boat sank on the journey from Baghdad, Nur Huda was left alone, believing Jamal dead. Then Pan appeared, guarding her while she slept, telling her about Lyra and saying that Jamal might have come to the city. He told her that Lyra would soon arrive, and that she would know her because Lyra, too, would be without her demon. This recognition binds the two lonely souls together. Both girls have been sundered from the halves of themselves that once gave them life and wholeness. Lyra's heart leaps when she hears that Pan was here. She has been chasing his trail across worlds, desperate to understand what divides them and how to mend it. But her eagerness startles the fragile girl, so she reins herself in, softening her tone and promising to listen instead of interrogating. They sit by an ancient fountain, the moon reflected in its trickle of cold, clear water, and share a quiet drink, small solace amid the ruins. Nur Huda tells her story. After the shipwreck, she wandered alone until Pan found her and spoke of a quest that Lyra was seeking something she had lost. Pan said he was going east, where the roses come from, to find it and keep it safe. But when Nur Huda and Pan reached this haunted place, disaster struck. A man emerged from the desert, pursued by a monstrous bird, a vast lion-eagle hybrid whose wings blotted out the stars. In his desperation, the man captured Jamal, perhaps to use him as bait or sacrifice to distract the creature. The man, Nur Huda says, had only one eye and looked like a Scythian or Khwarezmian, names that make Lyra start in recognition, though she cannot explain why. Nur Huda believes he may not even be real. All she knows is that ever since, the city has been full of voices, whispering, fighting, speaking in countless languages, always half-heard, like the rustle of dry leaves or the chirr of insects. Lyra listens, her senses sharpened by memory and fear. The night's silence feels alive, different from the dead stillness of the underworld she once crossed. This silence breathes, full of invisible motion. When Nur Huda insists that the voices are speaking even now, Lyra listens again and hears, just faintly, the scratch and murmur of speech within the wind. Nur Huda leads her to the marketplace, a great open forum covered in fine white sand where the whispers are strongest. The two girls sit together on the broken statue of a forgotten god. Lyra tries to hear the voices not directly but out of the corner of her mind, the way she once read the alethiometer or the way Giorgio Brabant once told her to perceive the secret commonwealth, not by forcing awareness but by loosening it. Gradually, the random sounds resolve into words. You alone, we want you to hear, this is not for the girl. The unseen beings call Nur Huda by name, telling her to go to the fountain and wait. Obediently, trembling, Nur Huda leaves. The mist of sand curls around her feet as she disappears. Now Lyra is alone with the voices. When she asks who they are, they answer. We are beings of another kind. Not angels, not demons, not part of the secret commonwealth, but something deeper, creatures from the gulfs between the good numbers. They tell her of an opening in the red building in the desert of Karamakon, a doorway into another world, where the roses come from. In a flash of realization, Lyra understands. It is a window, like those that will Perry once cut with the subtle knife, a lingering wound between worlds. A knife-bearer must have opened it long ago, leaving it ajar. But before she can grasp the full meaning, the voices whisper a strange, ominous word. The Alkahest. She mishears it, the alphabet, but they repeat it. The Alkahest, they tell her, is the destroyer of bonds. It can destroy everything. Lyra, dizzy with exhaustion and awe, presses on with her questions. Where is Jamal? In the treasury. And where is that? Behind you. Turning, she sees the ruins of a once grand building, half collapsed, half buried. Bracing herself against fear, she enters the rubble. Among the shattered stones, she finds a staircase descending underground. Moonlight spills partway down the steps, lighting her path. Deep below, she finds a sleeping man, the one-eyed stranger from Nur Huda's tale, and beside him a crude wooden cage. Inside it crouches a tiny creature with long ears and hind legs, Jamal. Lyra whispers his name and the demon answers weakly. The man, he explains, captured him to distract the monstrous bird. He is terrified. Lyra vows to free him, but the cage is nailed and wired shut with heavy steel mesh. Her injured left hand throbs with pain, but she begins to work. The man stirs in his sleep. Lyra freezes, then resumes. She cannot tear the cage apart with her bare hands. Then a memory pierces her, the alethiometer. Its needle is made of a mysterious silvery metal that once reminded Will and others of the knife itself. Could it cut the mesh? She opens her pack and retrieves the instrument, the golden compass that has guided her for 10 years. For a moment she holds it to her cheek, feeling the weight of all her adventures, all her faith and loss. She realizes she must break it apart. Carefully she unscrews the glass, discovering, as Malcolm Palsted once had with the wooden acorn, that it turns clockwise the wrong way. The glass lifts free, exposing the delicate needle trembling in the moonlight. Apologizing softly to her faithful companion, she removes the needle. It is as light as a hair and she fears dropping it. Returning to the sleeping man, she presses the needle's edge against the steel wire. Miraculously, it slices through the mesh as if it were spider silk. Strand by strand, she cuts until the cage front falls away. But Jamal must wait. The man is stirring again. As the cage shifts under his hand, he wakes, grabs Lyra's wrist and shouts in terror. She calls out for Jamal to flee and the demon darts away up the stairs. In desperation, Lyra stabs the man's arm with the needle. He howls, flings her off, and seeing the alethiometer glinting nearby, snatches it up before stumbling out into the night. Lyra, bruised and winded, gathers the glass and the needle. She scrambles up after him just in time to see an immense griffin-like creature, half lion, half eagle, swoop silently from the sky. It seizes the man in its talons and soars away, carrying him and the alethiometer into the moonlit heavens. Lyra watches, stunned, clutching the tiny shard of silver and the broken glass. Her only consolation is that she still holds part of the compass, the very essence of its power. Nearby, Nur Huda has found Jamal. The two are reunited, laughing and crying together. When Lyra approaches, Nur Huda runs to her, radiant with joy, and embraces her in gratitude. Lyra flinches, the pain in her hand unbearable, but smiles nonetheless. Nur Huda's words are bright with hope. With Jamal restored, she says she can find her family again. "My home is where my family is," she tells Lyra. Then, turning the conversation, she says that when Lyra finds Pan, she must kiss him because that is how love and forgiveness begin. Lyra, weary and haunted, can only nod. She does not know if she will ever find her demon again or what home even means for her now. Nur Huda, however, is certain. "Of course you will, he's very good at looking." Then, with her demon bounding beside her, the girl vanishes into the moonlit ruins, leaving Lyra alone once more. Lyra returns to her guide, Abdul Ionide, sleeping by their campfire on the desert's edge. He wakes as she approaches, puzzled by her disheveled state and the tremor in her voice. She tells him briefly of the voices, the word Alcahest, and the great bird. He dismisses it as the dream talk of exhaustion, urging her to rest. She lies down beneath his blankets, the desert air growing cold, and drifts into sleep. In her dreams, Pan returns. He slips under her furs and curls around her neck as he used to when they were one. She murmurs to him, half dream, half prayer, that the red building in the desert is a window between worlds like those she once crossed with Will. Pan whispers back, but what he says is beyond her understanding. And in her dream, she falls asleep again, lost between waking and dreaming between worlds. Themes and significance. Beings of Another Kind is a turning point in Lyra's journey, a descent into the underworld of her own doubt and exile. The ruined city mirrors her fractured soul, silent, haunted, full of echoes of a past glory now crumbled. Her encounter with Nur Huda reflects a parallel self, a mirror image of Lyra's loss, courage, and yearning for reunion with her demon. The voices represent unseen forces, perhaps spirits, perhaps entities from other planes, who speak of cosmic truths and dangers. The Alcahest, the universal solvent that can destroy every bond, becomes a metaphor for the dissolution of connection between people, between matter and spirit, between Lyra and Pan. The recovery of the alethiometer needle, made of the same mysterious substance as the subtle knife, suggests that Lyra now holds within her the potential to reopen worlds or destroy them. The griffin's sudden appearance, devouring both the man and the alethiometer, symbolizes how divine or cosmic powers intervene to reclaim what mortals cannot control. Finally, the dream reunion with Pan closes the chapter in bittersweet ambiguity. Whether it is real or imagined, it reaffirms that love and longing still bind Lyra to what she has lost, and that her journey toward understanding, forgiveness, and reunion is far from over.